So today's movie was Paul Schrader's new movie, First Reformed. I think the last Paul Schrader movie I saw was The Canyons with Paul Schrader in attendance. No Lindsay Lohan, unfortunately. Uh, First Reformed came out last year at the Venice Film Festival and then has been released here in America about 2 weeks ago, and it just opened here in Atlanta. It's written and directed by Paul Schrader, stars Ethan Hawke, Amanda Seyfried, and Cedric the Entertainer, going by his real name, Cedric Kyles. And it's good, and I liked it until the end. And then I didn't like it, and I didn't like the ending, and I felt like everything that the film had done was sort of undone by the ending. I'm not going to say what the ending is, but that's how I felt. I'll add mild spoilers to this title so people aren't like, damn it, you ruined my experience going in. But I guess I saw in a podcast that Paul Schrader did that he also didn't know what he was doing with the ending. So I'm like, I can tell. It's frustrating. So the film follows Ethan Hawke's character, who is a pastor named Reverend Toller, who is the pastor at the longest running church in Albany County called First Reformed. It's about to hit its 250th anniversary. It's mostly funded by one of those big mega churches called Abundant Life, whose head pastor is played by Cedric the Entertainer. His church is mostly a historic site at this point. He has not very many duties. It shows what it's like to be a pastor at a small place. He's, like doing the plumbing and working on everything, and he has, like 8 people that come to the service. His background is that he was a military chaplain whose marriage fell apart when his son went off to the Iraq War and died. You find this out as he's counseling the husband of one of his parishioners, played by Amanda Seyfried. Her husband is played by Philip Endinger. He is a radical environmentalist activist who has just been released from prison because she is pregnant. And he has serious doubts about bringing a child into the world as it is. And he lays out basically where our planet is going to be in 50 years and or 30 years, and what that would mean for his child, and what that would mean for him, and who he'd be in 30 years, and how old Ethan Hawke would be in 30 years, etc., etc. It's very terrifying, actually. And then something happens, and that causes the entire shift in the plot, and it causes the pastor, who's already dealing with his own demons, his own depression, his own despair, to go into overdrive as he deals with the outcomes of the incident. I don't really want to spoil it because it's not really spoiled in the trailer, and I firmly believe in not spoiling films because I didn't see what was happening because I didn't read much about the movie going in. But if you read about the movie, you'll be spoiled, so don't do that. I felt like it captured, I think, why a lot of millennials don't want to have children, why millennials are pushing back on having children. And I don't know that it 100% answered any of the questions that it raises, which is a good thing because it makes you think without telling you what to think, which is, I think, I'm saying think like too many times. I enjoy films that make you think without telling you how to think, and Schrader is often doing that. And Hawke is so good in this film. Now, I love Ethan Hawke in pretty much everything. I think he is one of the great actors. He is fantastic in this. You feel his burden, and you feel his strife, and you feel the weight of life on him. And it's an interesting way to show Christianity, because a lot of times you see Christianity as a very light kind of thing, and this is very Calvinist in its like brutality of Christianity, which is fascinating. I think the character is supposed to be Episcopalian, but he might have been Lutheran. I can't really tell. I don't think he was Catholic though. Don't think he was Catholic, but it's just a very heavy film. with a lot to say about Christianity, about faith, about the way in which we're destroying our planet, and how hard it is to see the truth in things and still have hope and faith in a brighter future. So all of that really worked for me. I don't again want to say how the ending is, but it didn't work for me. And I also felt like the peripheral characters were not all that well developed. Now, that being said, this is really all from the point of view of Ethan Hawke's character, so perhaps they're not well developed in his brain because he doesn't care about them. I'm not sure, but it would have been nice to have a little more depth to Seyfried's character and a little more depth to the other pastor and a little more depth to the woman that at one point it appears the Hawke character had an affair with. All of that is sort of like moments that they're all people who affect the trajectory of Hawke's character, but they don't ever feel like real people. So that's unfortunate. So I think this is a movie worth seeking out. Don't go see it if you're very depressed. It will just make you more depressed. I feel like it would make a great triple feature with like Night Moves and Children of Men, and then maybe Wall-E. Yes, the canon of environmental disaster, but not even disaster because they're not disasters. It's just human is the disaster. Humanity is the disaster. Okay, this is Ethan Hawke in Paul Schrader's First Reformed. It's in theaters now. Humanity is the disaster. Go check it out.